Hi, welcome back to my side-by-side exploration of Waterloo 20 and Napoleon at Waterloo, an attempt to pick up where I left off many, many weeks ago. Meanwhile, I moved furniture around and the cats knocked all the counters around, so I had to figure out where I left off here. And it was at the beginning of turn 3 of the third day scenario of Waterloo 20, the afternoon turn of June 18th. I think I have it figured out, but instead of continuing with that, oh, there's a better idea. We're gonna put that on pause and move over here. Napoleon at Waterloo. And just a side note, I was talking about Napoleon at Waterloo in the beginning of the last video when I had the camera pointed at Waterloo 20, which was confusing. Waterloo 20 is clearly operational in scale. Napoleon at Waterloo, on the other hand, could be described as grand tactical, maybe more operational in feel, but it covers just the Battle of Waterloo itself. The zones of control in Napoleon at Waterloo is also locking, rigid, active, just like in Waterloo 20. Although the term active is still really confusing to me, I'll eventually figure it out. There are also 3 types of units: infantry, cavalry, and artillery. However, they are less distinguishable, especially infantry and cavalry units in Napoleon at Waterloo than in Waterloo 20. The only real difference between the infantry and cavalry units in Napoleon at Waterloo is their movement allowance, and the cavalry units have generally a higher movement allowance and maybe a slightly lower combat strength. Artillery units in Napoleon at Waterloo have ranged attack. They can fire up to 2 hexes away, but not through towns or woods. There is no extended movement on roads. Roads are pretty much just there for historical... They didn't say... for a historical color was the term that they used. There are no rivers on this map either. And there was another edition that came out after this, 3rd edition in 1979. This is the 2nd edition, which does incorporate the new unit, this poor guy in the forest outside of Hougomont, that inevitably gets destroyed in the first French combat phase. But they also cropped the map and moved the Prussian entry turn from turn 2 p.m. to turn 3. What else? Yes. So I believe that turn 3 of Waterloo 20, the afternoon turn, covers roughly the first few turns of Napoleon at Waterloo. So that's what we're going to do. Play through a few turns, I'll upload that, go back to Waterloo 20, continue screwing up, not intentionally, and go back and forth every few turns. I'll finish a turn over here, and then we'll move on to our next project. Something that's probably a good idea to do. I always read it in these kind of beginning wargamer kind of little articles, and something that I haven't done before is to take stock of the units involved in the game. With so few units, although Napoleon at Waterloo probably has the most counters that I've seen in a game that I personally have played. What we're going to do is, or what I've done already here is counted up the number of units and averaged out the strength point per unit. So we have 26 French units on the board at the beginning of the game. No others arrive. That's what they start off with. That's all they get. An average of 3.42 strength points per unit. And among their units, they have 4 artillery units. The allied player, on the other hand, starts with 18 instead of 26, but on average, each of their units has a strength point of 4.06 versus the French player's 3.42. However, they start with 3 artillery units instead of 4. On turn 3, the Prussians arrive. They add to their total 9 units, bringing that up to 27. versus the French player's 26. Among the 9 units, there are 2 artillery units. And if you were to average out all of those Allied and Prussian units' strength points, it comes to 3.96, which is still higher than the French units' average strength point per counter per unit. So, but then I read in that the Bias Nobody Knows article that the Prussians really don't have much of a don't necessarily have a game-changing influence on the game. Probably, maybe it has to do with the fact that the French player's probably going to be pushing in towards the north, towards these exit hexes. We are rushing to see who can be the first to eliminate 40 enemy strength points. The French also have a second condition that they have to meet. They have to exit at least 7 of their units off of the map through those exit hexes by the end of the 10th and final turn. Otherwise it's a draw. And woods hexes are prohibited from entry, and that's about it. So let's get started. Here's the board at the end of the French movement phase, trying something that I haven't done before. For the fun of it, I don't know how it's going to turn out, but that's kind of the point of the thing. Last time I was trying to kind of rotate the front line from this angle to that angle and create a passageway for the French towards the exit hexes, and then also trying to prevent the Prussians from entering from behind our front line. That worked out pretty well, but we're gonna see what happens here. It's a little bit more risky. It may just not work out at all. We'll see. We have a couple of 1-to-1 attacks, a 1-to-2 attack. There's no 3-to-2 on this table. Everything's 1 to something or something to 1. We have one 3-to-1 attack over here, and then since this other artillery unit is in Liasen itself, its combat strength is doubled when defending, so that's another 1-to-2. Gotta make sure not to roll any 6s on those attacks. And with that, we will begin down here. 1-to-2, 1-to-2, 2-to-1. Yeah. Maybe we should do the 1-to-2s first. I don't think it really makes a difference the way I have things set up. Yeah, we'll resolve this down here. It's 1-to-1. We're attacking with a 3-strength cavalry and a 4-strength infantry unit. We get 3, which is a defender retreats. And unlike in Waterloo 20, units can retreat any direction as long as it's outside, away from the current hex, and not into another enemy zone of control. So if necessary, they will need to circumnavigate and retreat additional hexes. And then, of course, if they're pinned or surrounded, then they would simply be eliminated. And this unit can go here. We can advance here. Why not? Let's be risky here. Let's resolve this 1-to-1 attack. Oh, we roll a 1. And that is a defender retreats as well. Things, I think, are going okay. Okay. Good, and advance there. This one, unfortunately, is a 1-to-2 attack, but yeah, we'll go ahead and resolve that. We're just going from the bottom up. 1-to-2. Oh, we roll another 1. Defender retreats. Okay. We'll go ahead and advance. Over here is the 3-to-1 attack. Maybe we should do this 1-to-1 first up here. Oh wow, we rolled another 1 on the 1-to-2. This unit, incredibly, must retreat out of Lysen. They were defending. It was 4-to-6, you rolled on the 1-to-2. We will now advance. Alright, we have the opportunity of possible elimination of this artillery unit. Should we get a defender retreats? And we're rolling on the 3-to-1, so things are looking pretty good. We're attacking with both artillery units and the 4-strength infantry. We roll another 1. And just making sure... Well, that was a defender eliminated result anyway, so all that maneuvering really was unnecessary for this unit to be eliminated. And this we'll use as our marker on the demoralization scale, which is now up to a 3. We may advance, and we shall. We mustn't forget this poor guy in the forest hex. Since we're attacking with a 7 and a 5, that's 12. They're defending with 1 in the woods hex, so there's 2, so that's a 6-to-1 automatic elimination, bumping their demoralization up 1 to a 4. There's no advancing. Here's the end of the Allied movement phase. We had, of course, all these units here engaged in enemy zones of control. And we've just pretty much straightened out our line here in a defensive position. Let's go ahead and resolve this 1-to-2 attack just to see where we're at. We roll a 5, and that is definitely attacker retreats. Alright, so... Okay, let's go ahead and move on down here. So this one will be the 2 artillery units firing with a combat strength of 5. They're defending with 4 on the 1-to-1. Oh, attacker retreats. This unit was bombarding, so it's only this unit that would need to retreat. And I wonder if we could actually go this way. Let's just go this way though. Okay, so we're moving on down here, 1-to-1 again. Okay, this time it is a defender retreats. And down here, I don't think that advancing would be smart, but it's so tempting when we have another possibility. Let's just be risky. Let's see what happens. It's probably a terrible idea because then they can turn around and eliminate that unit, but we have this artillery unit here preventing entry into that hex. 2-to-1 attacker retreats. Did not work at all. And alright, 1-to-1 over here. And that was also an attacker retreat, so that did not work out at all. I should have actually retreated these the other direction. Although I don't think it makes a difference. Here's a rule clarification. Artillery units may fire over other intervening units and town hexes in order to attack from 2 hexes distant. Artillery may not fire over woods hexes to attack enemy units 2 hexes away. I remember reading this specific passage out loud and then I forgot. Here's the end of the French movement phase, entering combat, and things are not looking good in the Allied center. We have a couple of 1-to-1 attacks down here and a few 1-to-1 attacks up there. But over here we see the 6th strength Allied infantry unit has been surrounded, and we have some pretty strong attacks set up over here. 2-to-1, 2-to-1. So here, 2-to-1, 2-to-1, 1-to-1, and 2-to-1. Yeah. Let's go ahead and resolve 2-to-1. We'll go up here first, and that's 2-to-1. 7 plus 5 plus 2. They're defending with 7. We roll a 1, and that is defender retreats result. May advance. Next, we will go for this right here, and that was a 2-to-1 as well. We roll a 4, defender retreats. We'll advance. Attacking down here, the 2-strength artillery unit on 2-to-1. 2-to-1. Didn't work. Attacker retreats. Man. Well, that didn't work out. Let's go. Let's see. We'll just pull straight back. Finally over here, that is a 2-to-1, 1-to-1. We roll another 6 attacker retreat, so that didn't turn out as good as we'd hoped. I'm surprised. Okay, this unit, we're attacking 2-to-1. We roll a 1, defender retreats. Okay, this unit is eliminated, bringing their demoralization up to 10, while the French players still at 0. Let's resolve these 1-to-1 attacks, starting from the bottom going up. Attacker retreats. Defender retreats. Defender retreats. Let's see. Attacker retreats. Defender. Attacker retreats. And defender retreats. Now it is the Allied players' movement phase. This is a turn in which the Prussians would arrive according to the 2nd edition rule set, but we've delayed that to the 3rd turn. Here's the board at the end of the turn 2 allied movement phase. We have quite a few nice attacks lined up. Let's go ahead and resolve them. Starting with this big one here. Ooh, my light. I forgot about that. Yeah, so there's an opportunity to eliminate this 6th strength French infantry division. Rolling on the 2-1. We roll a 1, and that is a defender retreats. There's no retreat path, so this unit is eliminated, our first eliminated French unit, bringing their demoralization up to a 6. And we can go ahead and resolve this 1-1 next to it. Ooh, another 1, defender retreats. We'll pass on advancing there. Over here we have, down here, 9-4, 2-1. We roll a 4, defender retreats. And we won't, I don't think we will advance there, but we have another attack here. This is on the 1-2. They're in La Ascent. Oh, but we roll a 1. What is up with all these 1s? Well, it's a good thing, I think. Defender retreats. Man. Let's go ahead and advance. Over here, that is a 1-2 as well, and this time not as lucky. Attacker retreats. 1-1 down here. Also attacker retreats. This up here, 2-1, top to bottom, 1, 2, 3. We roll a 4, defender retreats. We will advance. Now, 6-2, 3-1. Oh no, 3-1 exchange. That's god awful. Alright. Allied demoralization goes up to 16. French goes up to 8. That was not supposed to happen. 1 in 6 chance of an exchange. Alright, so our last attack is the 7-7, 1-1. We roll a 1, defender retreats. Not looking good up there. Here's the end of the French movement phase, turn 3, 3 p.m. Not looking good for the Allied player. They have a couple of units pinned up here on 2-1 attacks. A couple of attacks here, another unit pinned here, another attack here, and a couple of attacks down here. Let's resolve them and see what happens. Starting up here, 2-1. Whoops. We get, you roll a 3, this unit is eliminated. Allied demoralization goes up to 20. They may advance. Next over here, another 2-1 attack. Another elimination result. Well, defender retreats result, which results in elimination. Bumping their demoralization all the way up to 27. And over here we have a 3-1 attack. We roll a 4, defender retreats. Here we have a 10 to 6, 2 to 1. Roll a 6, and it's actually attacker retreats. Here we have a 1 to 1. We roll a 2, and that is defender retreats. Let's leave that there. Next, here's a big one. So we'll go ahead and make this 16. Oh, they're actually, this is why. They're inlay ascent, so they're defending with 10, and we'll go ahead and do 20 to 10, 2 to 1. We roll a 4, defender retreats, this unit is eliminated. Okay. They're up to 32 on the demoralization scale. And we used 1, 2. Over here we'll do a 1 to 2 attack. We roll a 1, defender retreats. Down here we've got a 2 to 1 and a 4 to 1. We'll do the 4 to 1 first, and we roll a 6, and that is an exchange, which actually means that the French demoralization goes up by 4 to 12. And Allied demoralization bumps up yet again to 33, and now we're rolling on the 2 to 1 to resolve this final attack, and its attacker retreats. Entering the Allied movement phase, the Prussians finally enter. Here's the board at the end of the Allied movement phase of turn 3. And you can see that I've entered the Prussians a little bit further up the map to compensate for the fact that they're entering on turn 3, and for the fact that those 3rd edition rules, the 3rd edition map has been cropped to this point here, actually right here. So with that, we can see entering the combat phase we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 units to attack. We'll start, let's start down here. We have a 7 to 1, and this unit is automatically eliminated. French demoralization goes up by 1. We may advance. I think we will. Over here we have a 1 to 1 here, 3 to 3. Roll a 1, defender retreats. Defender can go in any of these 3 hexes. We'll advance. And we have another 6 to 1, 12 to 2. This unit is eliminated. French morale goes down by 2, and we may advance. Up here we are attacking with 11 they're defending with 7, 1 to 1. Roll a 5, attacker retreats. And another 1 to 1 over here as well. A 4, attacker retreats.